We provide information about sports betting for entertainment purposes only. Please confirm gambling regulations in your state of residence. To participate in sports gaming, you must be 21 years of age or older and be physically present in a state where sports betting is legal. If you or someone you know has a sports betting or gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org for more information and further assistance.
Welcome to the Spread Zone Podcast, the podcast for all things sports betting. My name is Riz. To my left is Anthony Stalter, and the master of the masters, Mr. Tim McKernan.
Thank you, Riz.
We're talking all things Masters Tournament 2025 today. I have never bet on golf before. So, Tim, you're the guy. This is your weekend.
Yeah, I haven't bet on golf since Sunday, so this is new for me. This is my week, Riz. I live for this week. Some people live for the NCAA tournament. Right. I live for Masters Week, so I want to try to guide people to profit.
Yes. If you win the Masters, how much you get? $3.6 million, I believe, if you're the outright winner of the Masters, a $20 million prize purse. What is the allure of the Masters, Tim? Have you played Augusta?
I have not. I would love to. That would probably be that, and going to the Masters would be the only thing at this point in my career that I think I would actually leave the basement for. Mm-hmm. I think the answer to the question is, for people in the Midwest and the North, it's the real sign that the cold weather is over, and so I think they associate it with that. And in addition to it, it's one of the only golf tournaments where people, even casual fans, know the golf holes because they play that tournament, and it's such a big event every year, so you know that 12 is a famous par 3 and 13 and 15 are par 5s that you can score on. So I think it's the familiarity with it, along with the subconscious that the warm weather is arriving. Also, there might be something for fathers and sons and grandfathers and grandsons, and hell, at this point, some of the best players are ladies, so granddaughters and daughters to watch with parents. So I think there's all of those elements that contribute to the love of this week.
And you got 95 golfers in the field, and of course the star-studded field. Anthony, name some big golf players this weekend.
Well, Scottie Scheffler is the current favorite.
That's right. I said golf players.
That's our, yeah. Listen, we're going to go right over that. Yeah, golf players. Golf players. They are playing golf. Mm-hmm. So
by definition, it's accurate.
Yeah. So current number one and the 2022 Masters champion finished in the top 10 or better in every Masters since 2020. You got Rory McIlroy. I think he's got the next best odds.
Yep.
At what's plus 650, I think I saw this morning.
That's correct.
Still chasing that career Grand Slam with the Masters. John Rahm is a player I'd be looking at. Jordan Spieth, Xander Schauffele. These I think are the top names. And of course, the one omission is our guy Tiger Woods.
Yeah, not in the field.
No.
Not playing golf this weekend.
No, he's not a golf player.
Not playing golf this weekend.
Yep.
I mean, listen, you could do well all year long. You could do well on the tour, but when it comes to the Masters, I mean, there's the pressure. There's all the eyes on you, so it's anybody's weekend, Tim.
It's a career-defining weekend for a golfer. And rarely in this tournament do you have a random player win. It is usually one of the absolute best. Sometimes in PGA championships, sometimes in Opens, sometimes in U.S. Opens, you'll have a random pop-up. With the Masters, it's usually one of a core group of players and a name that casual golf fans would recognize.
So, Tim, for somebody like Riz, who has not wagered yet on golf, you're a master when it comes to the Masters. If you're approaching this thing, obviously you got a lot of names out there. There's a lot of different, the secondary market has a lot of different ways to play this. What is your approach this weekend?
So the predictive...
And just Masters overall, not just necessarily this weekend.
The thing that makes the Masters, from my standpoint, a great thing to bet on is it's one of the unique things in sports gambling that predictive data really does lead you home. Of course, that isn't absolute. Otherwise, people would just double their bankrolls by betting the Masters. but you are likely to see certain traits that players have been possessing over the last handful of tournaments indicate who is likely to be successful. In other words, if a guy has not been playing well, it's highly unlikely he's suddenly going to be at the top of the leaderboard in the Masters, whereas other tournaments, a course or something can go right. That's not the way that it works for this tournament, in part because the best players are playing in it and so they can't sneak up. But in addition to it, there's certain data points that are indicative of who's going to have success, and that's why something for golf gamblers, this is a great weekend, in addition to just loving watching the tournament.
Would a good strategy be, as a novice, to go long shot bet with safe pick to hedge kind of your wagers?
I like that play. I have a few long shots in addition to some chalk, for lack of a better term, as we just saw in the NCAA tournament with 4 number 1 seeds. The chalk being the obvious ones of Scheffler and McIlroy, but I think there are a couple others who aren't up there with Scheffler at plus 500 and McIlroy at plus 650 that the data would indicate they'd be good plays going into this.
Right. So, I mean, betting types, you could do your outright winner.
Yep.
You could do your top 5, your top 10, your top 20 finishes for safer bets. You could do your head-to-head matchups.
Yeah, I like those a lot, Riz. To me, if you don't want to just pick the outright winner,
and that's so tough to do.
It's
I mean,
very
you can be
tough.
all over it, but you're 1 in 95.
But let's say you like a couple of golfers this weekend, right? Like, let's say you like John Rahm, or let's say you like Brooks Koepka, for example, right? If you choose 3 or 5 golfers that you like, you can sprinkle a couple to win the tournament, right? But then if you look at some of these matchups, for example, Brooks Koepka is plus 110 against Ludwig. Tim, help me on this one.
It's getting pronounced a variety of ways, but I think he said Oberg is the way to do it.
Oberg.
Well, it's the letter A with a little circle over it.
Yeah, he's got is that an umlaut, Riz?
I don't know what that is.
Oberg. So Brooks Koepka is plus 110 over Oberg, who's minus 140 in head-to-head. So that just means Koepka does not have to win it all. He's just got to be.
He's got to be better than him.
Exactly. So I really like that matchups or the head-to-head play.
All right, so let's take a break. We'll take a break right here. We'll come back. We'll talk favorites. We'll talk top contenders. We'll talk the early favorites. It's the spread zone. We're talking the 2025 Masters. And stay there. We'll be back. All right, it is the spread zone talking 2025 Masters Golf Tournament. Let's talk about some of the favorites, Tim McKernan.
Yeah.
Your favorite to win this weekend is?
As far as a favorite of the obvious one, it's Scottie Scheffler, and I feel like that kind of goes without saying. But this year, a lot of people are looking at the way Rory McIlroy is playing and saying, could this be the year he wins the career Grand Slam? And I'd love to see it just from an entertainment standpoint, but if I had to pick between the two, I would go with Scottie Scheffler.
Repeating is historically difficult.
That's correct.
Being a repeating champion is a historically difficult thing. McIlroy's in great form, as you mentioned, chasing his career Grand Slam. What can you tell me about John Rahm, Anthony Stalter?
I like John Rahm. 6 top 10 finishes in 7 Augusta appearances. He was, of course, the 2023 Masters winner. I think that there's a great amount of value in his betting number. I mean, I realize that repeat winners, as you guys just noted, it can be tough. But Tiger's done it, Phil's done it. I think Bubba Watson did it as well. John Rahm, I think, is a really good value play overall, but I like some of his head-to-head play too.
Would you say that John Rahm is a good sleeper pick?
Yeah, I think so. There's 2 ways you can go about handling the Masters. I love playing daily fantasy where you're picking 6 golfers and each golfer is assigned a price point and you have $50,000 in quote fake money to put a roster together. And my supposition on that is that John Rahm will not be highly owned, which would be right on target of a sleeper pick, a guy who can win, who most people will be fading because he's kind of flying under the radar. He's a live guy now, and people might not be all that familiar with what he has been doing. He's been playing solid. He is not the best live player as far as the recent data goes, but he's still been good and is certainly a guy who can win this thing. He's done it before. 2 years ago, and he is plus 1,600, and that's the 5th best odds of any golfer in this week's field, Riz.
What about long shots? What about, a sleeper like, listen, John Rahm's got the 3rd best odds to win. Considered a sleeper. I mean,
I think a sleeper relative to the name from where he
Right.
was, say, 2 years ago when he won. I don't think people were all that surprised by it. Now he isn't as mainstream because he's a live player, but that doesn't take away his talent. Look what we just saw from Bryson DeChambeau last year.
can you give me a couple long shots that have a chance?
Yes, I can. And they're names that I think hardcore golf fans might be familiar with, but the casual fan would not be. And if you're looking to sprinkle long shots for some weekend sweat, two that would come to mind right out of the gate would be a guy who went to a Monday playoff last month against Rory McIlroy and the Players. That would be J.J. Spaun. J.J. Spaun is plus 17,500 to win this thing, but he nearly won the Players, which most golf fans consider to be the fifth major, and he had to go to a Monday playoff against Rory McIlroy where McIlroy beat him. He has been playing well all year. In addition to another sleeper that would not be a household name, that would be Aaron Rai. R-A-Y is how you spell Aaron Rai. He has been playing really well this year as well, and that is a guy that most people probably would not be thinking about, and he would fall into the category of a long shot as well.
Couple names I keep
Plus
hearing.
15,000.
Plus 15,000. A couple names I keep hearing from the so-called experts as far as long shots and sleepers is Morikawa, 3 consecutive top 10 finishes at Augusta. Xander Schauffele, who's plus 1,800, multiple top 10 finishes at Augusta, including a runner-up finish. And Russell Henley is a name that I hear a lot.
I like Morikawa. I like Henley. Schauffele is coming off of injury. His first tournament was some of the worst golf that he said he ever played, but then his more recent tournament, he played really well, so perhaps he's over it. I think it was a rib injury, which as a golfer is brutal. But Morikawa is playing really well, but hasn't been able to close them out. He was in the final group last year with Scottie Scheffler. He's very dangerous this week, and I like that play. And then Russell Henley would also fall into the category of a guy that if you're not really a golf fan, you might not be all that aware of him. But he won the Arnold Palmer Invitational last month, and that could kind of be a breakthrough win for a guy who's lingered around, but on Sundays can fall off. He was able to close that out against Morikawa, as a matter of fact, Riz. And at plus 5,000, if you're looking for something that isn't maybe absurd like plus 15,000 or plus 17,500, like I listed with Spaun in Rye, even though I don't consider those to be absurd, plus 5,000 for Russell Henley would be a good kind of compromise on getting some value for a guy who has competed well at Augusta before and is coming off of a win at what is one of the toughest courses these guys play every year in the Arnold Palmer Invitational at Bay Hill.
You know, one guy that keeps coming up in some of the head-to-head matchups that I like is Hideki Matsuyama, who won in 2021. Elite iron play from him. I think he's like plus 3,000 maybe overall. So maybe not the huge long shot, but certainly a sleeper. I think Cameron Smith's kind of interesting too. Multiple top tens in the Masters, and then this is somebody that putts very well. So couple of guys again that if you're looking for the head-to-heads, those are two that I like.
And that's one of the things about Augusta National. It is so rare for somebody to show up who doesn't play the course well and then all of a sudden go off. And while Cam Smith has not been striking the ball particularly well for what he is used to as an Open champion, then also has competed at Augusta at a high level, that putting can be the great equalizer. A statistic that I would want to share with our audience that I think is of merit, both for gambling purposes and also just to watch this weekend, is that the way that this has worked, which is why I talk about this predictive data regarding Augusta more so than any other major, because again, this is the tournament that they play at the same venue year in and year out, is that it is so important for a player to be in the top strokes gained tee to green. And 14 players in this year's field are entering this week, gaining at least 18 strokes tee to green. Scheffler, Corey Connors, Morikawa, Lowry, Spaun, McIlroy, Sepp Straka, Aaron Rai, who I talked about, Bryson DeChambeau, Lucas Glover, Will Zalatoris, Russell Henley, Robert McIntyre, and Kevin Yu, who also, that's plus 50,000. And historically in this tournament, that is an important thing to have going in. As a matter of fact, 13 of the last 13 winners of the Masters had gained at least 18 total strokes tee to green in their last 4 tournaments before their Masters win, and those 14 players are the only ones of the 95 who have that data point to check that box. Kevin Yu, I believe, is playing his first Masters. A rookie has never won the tournament, so you can theoretically cross him off, but the other players are all checking the boxes. So if you were building out daily fantasy rosters or you wanted to dial in on some top 10 and top 5s or winner, those would be the players to focus on.
Now let me ask you about strategy again. Betting on multiple outcomes for the same player. Good strategy, like outright win plus top 5 finish.
I love diversifying with an outright winner, and then maybe allocate, like if you did want to put money on Kevin Yu at plus 50,000, well, you can put like a quarter unit on that, and if it hits, you're gold.
Right.
But a top 5 is going to pay out heavily on a guy that's a big of a long shot. A top 10. So to diversify with some longer shots with top 5s and top 10s, that to me, if you did want to play those, that would be the way I would do it. That's what I have done this year, and fortunately, it's been profitable with golf. Again, golf is a great thing from my standpoint to bet on because the analytics really do guide you. Guys don't just pop up out of nowhere and win. In particular, the Masters. Of course, it can happen. Doesn't mean it's absolute. But again, I'm saying 13 of the last 13 winners had this metric, and this metric is easily accessible, and I just gave you the name.
Also, live betting after round 1. There's a lot. I mean, you could set set it now, or you could wait till after round 1.
Sure, and a lot of that risk can be factored on tee times. If guys are teeing off in the morning, and you know the winds are going to be up in the morning, and then they calm down in the afternoon, or vice versa, you can play based on tee times, and that's a way that some guys who play daily fantasy utilize it. So keep an eye on that. Although this forecast is supposed to be relatively cool for Augusta at this time of year, maybe a chance of rain on Friday that would soften the greens. That could benefit Rory McIlroy. He historically plays better when the greens are a little softer, so keep an eye on that if it does rain. But yeah, you can play the tee time splits as well.
Any prop bets you guys are looking at? There's a couple options. I mean, you could do like, will there be a hole-in-one? Who the top amateur would be? Who the best live golfer?
Yeah. The live golfer favorite pairing on that is Bryson and John Rahm. If you wanted to play both of them together. A lot of people are on Joaquin Niemann this week. That's a name that I don't know if you've heard that one percolating. But
heard of Joaquin Phoenix.
Phoenix is
not playing. Not in the field of 95.
Yeah.
Not a golf player.
Not a golf player. Anthony.
There are the live players. Certainly, it'll be intriguing to see if Koepka can pop back up because he seems to dial it up for the majors, comes out of nowhere. And if he were to be able to do that, Brooks Koepka would pay you pretty handsomely, plus 2,500 for a 5-time major winner.
I like John Rahm in that top.
In that live play?
Best live golf.
I like that one a lot.
And Rahm on that strokes gain stat is right there, the cutoff being 18. Niemann's at 17.1, and Rahm is at 15.3. So it's not like he's far off from the cutoff.
I was going to ask you about Rahm specifically.
Yep, he's at 15.3.
Do you have Hideki?
Hideki is not in that list. Hideki is not in that list. A guy, if you're looking also for a random who's kind of lurked but hasn't been there, he has been a playoff in a major. He was in the playoff at Southern Hills with Justin Thomas. That's Will Zalatoris. The numbers match up there. He's also had a few good showings at Augusta, and he is plus 5,000. Plus, he matches up with the strokes gain data of having 19.1 strokes gained in his last 4 events. But, I mean, this really does get down to, are you on Scheffler or are you not? Are you on McIlroy or are you not? Those are the first 2 questions you ask before you either enter daily fantasy rosters or you decide to bet this event.
Well, listen, I'm gonna put all my eggs into the top amateur prop bet.
That's where you're going?
That's it. Of course, it's going to be Gordon Sargent.
The individual champion from Vanderbilt in 2022. This is his time.
The top amateur will be Gordon Sargent.
So, Riz,
not to win, just to be the top amateur.
How much of that play went into you liking the name?
All of it.
Yeah. And now that you know he was a Commodore, so he must be smart.
Yeah.
Must be smart.
You love it even more.
Love it even more.
You got the confirmation bias from Tim.
Yeah, I like the name too. And hey, the amateur last year, the top amateur was Neil Shipley, and he got to play with Tiger Woods on Sunday. It's just the way that the pairings worked out. And they were both out of it. But he was the only amateur lurking, and he got to spend 18 holes with Tiger Woods at Augusta as like a 21-year-old from Ohio State.
Listen, come Monday, you guys are going to be like,
nice call on Gordon Sargent.
How did you
should have listened to you. All right, so we'll take one final break. We'll come back, and we'll make our final predictions and best bets, our picks, our final picks for the Masters next on the Spread Zone. All right, welcome back to the Spread Zone. We're talking 2025 Masters golf. All right, let's make our final predictions and best bets.
Yes.
I'll start with Anthony. Anthony, outright winner.
Sorry, Riz, you're hosting this. That's my fault. Rory McIlroy at plus 650.
This is his time.
This is
career Grand Slam.
This is his time. Rory, come on down. Now, Rory was on that list. I did hear you.
Rory is absolutely on that list. I mean, two-time winner this year. He won at Pebble Beach, and he won the Players last month. He would absolutely be considered in form. So
Give me Rory.
Riz, I am going to go with a guy who's just on the outside of that 18 strokes tee to green, but I think he's lurking, and I'm going to get some decent value on him. Justin Thomas wins his first Masters this week. Justin Thomas wins his first Masters.
I'm on the Rory McIlroy train.
Oh, so I'm on the island.
You're on the island.
I'm on the island.
I did not expect there to be an island.
How about
we were going to be an all individual island.
Yeah. How about that? No Scheffler, though, of note.
Yeah.
But let's talk top 5 finish.
Yes.
Top 5. I need one safe pick and one kind of out there pick.
Happy to accommodate you on that. I go back to JJ Spawn. You get plus 2,000 on him finishing in the top 10, and I like that play a lot. I realize he is not a name that most people are familiar with. Totally understand it. But hey, that is where you can get an opportunity to get paid off. So plus 2,000 on JJ Spawn as a top 10 finish.
How about a top 5?
Top 5 finish. Let me scroll through it. I can give you a good number on. Scheffler's minus 105 to finish in the top 5, so you actually got to pay to win, even though it's only 105. A top 5 finish, I think Colin Morikawa at plus 275. You're getting almost 3-1 on your money on a guy who's playing so well, has played that course well. Colin Morikawa, 3-1 on my money. I like that.
All right, Anthony?
Top 5, I like John Rahm to finish
safe
in the
pick.
top 5.
You're getting 3-1 on your money on that, Anthony.
That's my safe pick. 6 top 10s. I read this before. 6 top 10s in 7 Augusta appearances. So while it's not top 5, that trend I think can still hold up. You almost talked me out of them, Tim, because of that fancy list you have. But if I'm going with a long shot here, give me the 2021 Masters champ Hideki Matsuyama to finish in the top 10 or top 5.
Top 5 for Matsuyama would pay plus 600. 6-1 on your money, Anthony.
So we're getting good val
yes,
there.
Sir.
All right, safe pick, obviously Scottie Scheffler. That's a safe pick. Top 5, Xander Schauffele.
Okay.
Xander, and that's going to get you 3-1 on your money also, plus 325. Yeah, that's a guy that falls into the Rahm category for me. I think a lot of people will be shorting the Schauffele market because of the injury. And so if you are playing daily fantasy sports and you want to own players who will not be owned by a third of the field, Scheffler will be owned by more than a third of the field, I would imagine. McIlroy might be owned by more than a third of the field. Both are priced so highly you can't have both on the same roster. If you wanted to get somebody who could win it, who might be under-owned, both Rahm and Schauffele would fall into that category. So you would get real value there if you're playing daily fantasy sports this week.
All right, of those not mentioned, those golfers or golf players, as I like to put it, not mentioned, I need 2 sleeper bets
I'm happy to accommodate. I think this could be Tommy Fleetwood's week. He has never won in the United States, which is amazing for as good as he is. He's plus 600, by the way, as far as a top 5 goes. He's been playing really well. He is on what Anthony describes as Tim's fancy list. And Tim's fancy list does have him on there. And if you got him and you got him to win, Riz, you'd get plus 4,000. And another one, this guy has been playing well. He has won in the United States. Shane Lowry is somebody I would keep an eye on. He's played well at Augusta as well as being in form. And Shane Lowry is somebody I could see being in the mix that wouldn't necessarily be somebody most people would be thinking going into the 2025 Masters. Shane Lowry paying plus 4,000.
Not the biggest value because he finished up in the runner-up last year, but give me Ludwig Åberg.
Yeah.
Runner-up in 2024 Masters, elite driving and ball striking. Kid's calm under pressure, kind of in that sweet spot for his age at 25, trending up, nearly won last year. I think that would be kind of my best value pick, so to speak, even though the payout wouldn't be as big.
Ludwig is plus 2,000. That's not bad, though, for a guy who was right there last year in his first Masters, nearly breaking that trend of rookies struggling at Augusta.
2 sleepers for me.
Okay,
I'm on the Russell Henley train.
That's a nice play. That's kind of a sneaker play, plus 5,000.
And Bryson DeChambeau.
Yeah, I will be awfully intrigued to see if he can carry over the momentum he had at the PGA and, of course, at winning the U.S. Open. If he can crack the Augusta code, he is plus 1,400 and Henley plus 5,000.
All right, well, final thoughts on the Masters.
Can't wait. Looking forward to seeing if Rory McIlroy can finally get this done. If it's going to happen, this would probably be the year. He, of course, is not an old man, but he is 35, and this game continues to get younger and younger as distance becomes more and more important. And is Scottie Scheffler entering into the Tiger Woods conversation? Because if he wins 3 Masters in 4 years, a guy with a very down-to-earth, likable, humble personality, I think all of a sudden becomes talked about in 2025 as being one of the greats in sports. He just doesn't have the flair that Tiger Woods has. You win 3 Masters in 4 years, you're up there, and that's what right now he is the odds-on favorite to do.
I think for me, as Tim noted, Rory McIlroy to see if he can get it done. But if I'm just throwing out a theme that I've had, check out those matchups. You can get good odds on it, and you don't have to pick players to win it all.
Yes, picking a golfer to win is so
it's
tough.
difficult. So just pick a few you like.
But if you got a few guys you like, and they're up against guys who've struggled at that course, which again, the predictive analytics really lend you to success in this tournament in particular, you can find a matchup you like. That is another way to really profit. That's right.
We remind you to gamble responsibly and do what you will with the information that you were just given.
Yes.
All right, make sure you follow, rate, and share the Spread Zone for the fellas. I'm Riz, and this is the Spread Zone. Enjoy golf this weekend.
We provide information about sports betting for entertainment purposes only. Please confirm gambling regulations in your state of residence. To participate in sports gaming, you must be 21 years of age or older and be physically present in a state where sports betting is legal. If you or someone you know has a sports betting or gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org for more information and further assistance.